I know, weight gain is super frustrating, especially when you don't know why it's happening. And then, of course, to top it off, you gain that extra weight and it leads to major health conditions like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, hypertension, and the list goes on. And then with all that extra belly fat, you're just typically not happy with your appearance. So that's why in this video, we're gonna talk about the top 10 reasons that you are unknowingly gaining weight and of course, how to counteract them. So stick around to the end, but before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community so I can help you excel your health and your life. Let's go ahead and dive in here because let me tell you, if you're having a problem with gaining weight, one of the solutions that we're going to talk about today is going to be your answer. So let's first talk about bad food choices. Now, bad food choices is important because this is one that many people are making. Even if you think that you're following a healthy diet, a lot of times there's foods in there that you're slipping up on. And a lot of times we have foods that we're a little bit addicted to, so we keep craving them. And then to top it off, many of us were raised in a way, in a different generation where, eating foods that were healthy weren't really at the top of the list. They weren't really at the forefront. It was more about eating foods that were convenient, especially in my era. So when we talk about bad food choices, it's always good to make sure that we're removing foods that are going to cause weight gain. Some of the top ones that people have problems with are going to be sugar. It's going to be grains. So remove sugar, remove grains, and also remove all processed foods and then limit your carbohydrates. And the carbohydrates you are consuming should come from healthy sources. I'll put a link to a healthy carb list in the description below. Check that out. Next is going to be water intake, okay? A lot of people, it's very important that you're going and consuming more water. Now, for the most part, we have to look at this two ways. For one, maybe you're not consuming enough water and you are consuming more calories because you are thinking that you're hungry when in fact you're actually thirsty. But the other thing about water that's important is that a lot of people are drinking coffee, energy drinks, soda, sweetened teas, and everything but water. And the problem is that is loaded with calories and it's not going to help us if we're trying to lose weight. In fact, many people are eating and drinking so many empty calories that they have a lot of weight gain, but they're never really satiated simply because their body's not getting the nutrition it needs. So we want to make sure that we're sticking to water. When we think of hydration, we stick to water. Now, a couple things you can do. First of all, increasing your water intake is going to be good and cutting out all the other things. But then we can add in a few things throughout the day that are healthy. Maybe it's like an electrolyte drink. Maybe it's an apple cider vinegar drink. Recently on Instagram, I talked about how, mid-afternoon, just to change it up a little bit, I like to have this drink where I mix electrolytes and I mix apple cider vinegar together, and it's really delicious. I'll put a link to the recipe in the description below there. But make sure that we're increasing our water intake to help with weight loss. Too many meals. This is another problem that many people suffer with. When I'm at the gym, I hear the trainers say all the time, you know what, you got to make sure that you're having 6 small meals a day. And this is something that's really frustrating to people because they're trying to have, 6 small meals in order to help them lose weight. But yet, on the same hand, they're having very small meals. They never feel satiated. They're always just like kind of pumping their metabolism, but really never feeling like they're getting enough food. And so we don't want to be having too many meals. I'd rather have people have 2 or 1 big meal. So what's the solution here? Do intermittent fasting, do 1 meal a day, cut your meals down, have some big, delicious, satiating meals, and don't have a whole bunch of small meals because it's just going to make you more hungry and cause trouble for you. Next is poor sleep and stress. I always put them together because the problem is that they really feed off each other. You have poor sleep, you have more stress, or you have more stress and it causes poor sleep. We always want to make sure that we're increasing our quality of sleep. I track my sleep all the time, and one of the reasons I do that is just to simply make sure that I'm getting into a deep sleep, because what happens when you're not getting enough sleep and you're not getting enough hours of deep sleep is that it throws you into a problem where your blood sugar is high throughout the day. Some people who aren't getting enough sleep will have blood sugar that resembles a diabetic simply because their hormones are all thrown off and their body is not functioning well. So we want to make sure that we're getting good quality sleep, and then we also want to focus on reducing stress simply because as we have increased stress in our body, we have increased cortisol, typically increased insulin comes with that, and then what comes after that is increased fat storage on our body. And if we're trying to lose weight, we don't want to be storing fat. So a couple solutions is track your sleep and always work to make sure that you're increasing the quality of it, okay? The next solution here when it comes to stress is, first of all, you can make sure that you are doing some yoga, doing some meditation, doing some deep breathing, things that help reduce stress, and of course, avoid stressful situations at all costs so that you can always work to lose weight and not gain weight. It's very difficult to gain weight if your hormones are all thrown off, especially cortisol, insulin, some of these major ones that are associated with gaining weight. Sedentary lifestyle. It's so important to make sure that you're not sitting around all day and then hoping that you're going to lose weight. For a lot of people, they wake up in the morning, they get in their car, they drive to work, and then they sit in the desk all day, they drive home, and they then at their home sit on the couch, watch TV because they're exhausted. Well, the problem with this sedentary lifestyle is simply that you are not moving. The human body is designed for movement. What's the solution to that? Simply go and start exercising. A 30-minute walk a day, okay? You don't have to be the next Olympic athlete. A 30-minute walk a day is a good place to start. Doing some resistance training, lifting some weights, doing some sprints, doing any type of aerobic activity is going to really help with weight loss. So if you fall into this category, make sure you start moving, because I can tell you, as somebody who has been exercising for many years, when I stop exercising, it's very easy for me to gain weight. I start overeating and it throws my whole system right off. And then as a result, I start putting that weight on, and that's not good. And so eating too much is next on our list. Eating too much is a big problem for a lot of people. You know, in certain areas of the world, in certain countries, especially in America, one of the things that happens is when we go to restaurants, we have big portion sizes. We have huge plates full of food, and we think that, well, this is dinner. And then what happens is we're overeating. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention to our calorie intake. Of course, eating a good, healthy diet is important, but even if you're eating good, healthy foods and you're eating too much of them, then you're going to have a problem with eating too many calories and then putting on weight. It's a simple equation. If you're eating more food than your body needs, it starts storing it as fat. And so we want to make sure that we're always paying attention to this and we're not eating too much. The solution to this is count your calories for a period of time to kind of understand where you're supposed to be, simply so that you're not overeating on a regular basis. Now, not tracking your health. This is so important. You know what this reminds me of is when I used to go to the gym and not track my weights. I would go there day after day and I would do the same workouts week after week, and I would never really progress at all. Well, what happened when I started actually tracking my workouts and writing down the weights that I was using is I slowly increased week after week versus staying stagnant. Well, the same thing happens with your health. If you're not tracking your calories, if you're not tracking the food that you're eating, maybe you need a food diary. If you're not tracking your sleep, if you're not tracking, whether or not you are stressed or not, if you're not tracking your health in general, what happens is we tend to never move forward. Start tracking your health. Make yourself a diet diary. Make yourself utilize a sleep tracker, like this ring I have on right now that tracks my sleep. Use a system in order to track your health so that you're constantly working to make improvements. It's so important. Sometimes we think of this stuff being like really complicated. It's very simple. Get yourself a notebook, start writing notes, how you feel for the day, what you did, and of course, what you can do to improve every single day. Next on our list is, are you suffering from a health condition? This is a reason that a lot of people are gaining weight unknowingly. Are you somebody who has insulin resistance? That's going to cause you to gain more weight. Are you somebody who has PCOS? Are you someone who has a thyroid condition? There's a lot of conditions out there that some people are struggling from that are causing them to gain weight. If you want to make sure that you're not unknowingly gaining weight due to a health condition, go to your doctor, get a checkup, make sure that you are somebody who is staying on top of your health. And if you're somebody who is looking for extra help and you're looking to do it naturally, we help many people around the world in order to naturally improve their health, because health only comes naturally. I'll put a link in the description below to a wait list, so that when we open up the nutrition program again, you can join it and participate in it. Now, next is misinformation. This happens all the time. We hear all this stuff on the internet about the perfect diet that you have to follow, the perfect exercise routine, the perfect this, the perfect that. At the end of the day, there's no perfect. It's all about creating a schedule that is sustainable for you and doing the right things that are necessary for you to start losing weight. So when you see all this stuff on the internet about how you can gain weight, whether it's some magic pills or a magic shake, we have to make sure that we're not falling into that misinformation category. And so always question everything you hear so that you can start making good, reasonable choices in order to improve your health. So watch out for that misinformation. Now, food availability is the last thing on our list here. And this is important to understand simply because of this. Now, a lot of times people have a lot of junk food sitting around their house. They are at their desk and they have snacks laid out all over. We want to make sure that we are not snacking all day. We want to make sure that we don't have junk food in our cupboards that we can easily go grab at any point in the day and start snacking on those things that are unhealthy, full of sugar, and of course, causing us to gain weight. So the foods that you have available to yourself, make sure, first of all, they're healthy, but also make sure that you just don't have food lingering around you all day long that is there to grab and snack on. So give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and watch this video over here for more information on how to lose weight. As a result, you automatically intermittent fasted, you pushed your body to start burning fat, you raised growth hormone, you really drop down your blood sugar, drop down the fat storing hormones, and it really is helpful.